Hi, I'm Andy Crocker, Extension Program Specialist for Gerontology and Health with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, and I'm part of the professional development team for the Well-Connected Communities Project. One of the hardest parts of my job is walking into a room that maybe I've never seen before, in front of an audience that I don't know, to talk about something. I've got a lot of training and experience with my subject matter. I feel well prepared to go in there, but there's still something about getting up on the stage and talking to a group that can cause you to hit the panic button a little bit. Today, we're going to talk about public speaking and how you can take all the knowledge and training that you've gotten through these modules and apply them in a way that's going to help you connect with your audience and really hit it out of the park with your educational message.
One of the things that can make or break an educator and/or an educational program is the ability to convey a message, to communicate with the public, to talk to and meet the people where they are. In the course of this volunteer training process, you have and will continue to receive a lot of subject matter specific training, and I know you're excited, but you've still got to make that connection with people. You've still got to get in the door to share all of that knowledge. In this module, we're going to talk about public speaking and effectively conveying your message. Congratulations! You've been asked or have volunteered to speak in public. Now the reality sets in. What do I say? How do I say it? What do I wear? How did I get myself into this? The purpose of this presentation is to help you be comfortable and confident when it comes time to convey your message to others. Many people run away from speaking in public because they are afraid of speaking in front of others. In fact, speaking in public ranks as the #1 fear for many adults. However, you've been asked to speak to an audience or group because you have first-hand information about a subject in which they're interested. Public speaking allows you to be a teacher and educate or inform others. Plus, preparing for speaking in public gives you an excuse to delve into a subject further so you can discover more background information that you may need to respond to questions which may arise during your program. Finally, it can be fun to get up and share your message with others. Share your passion for your subject and be an advocate for something that you care about. When you look at what goes into effective public speaking, something like this pyramid starts to take shape. Your foundations include identifying your audience, selecting your topic, and identifying the purpose of your presentation. And all of these things may overlap. Your audience may have requested a particular topic, or perhaps you have a topic in mind that you need to find a willing audience for. In any instance, as you work with and through your extension service, your purpose is more likely than not to educate. Is your audience a professional audience or non-professional? Adults or youth? Does your topic fit the bill? If the audience is expecting a food safety presentation, the physical activity presentation you've been painstakingly rehearsing is probably going to fall flat, even if you hit it out of the park when you deliver it. When preparing, many of the items related to research, organization, and support are baked into the mix, especially if you're using an extension developed program or other evidence-based or evidence-informed programs. We can generally expect that extension programs are well researched and well organized because the specialist or other content expert behind the program has put a lot of thought into development and implementation. In this case, though, your preparation may be reaching out to clarify some of the points you may not quite understand, or ask about what questions you might anticipate from the group, or how you should handle questions when and if you're asked them. And practice, both verbal and nonverbal delivery. Get familiar with the topic and the script so that it rolls off the tongue. I find that I'm much better prepared to give a presentation that I authored, but sometimes stumble over something that I may have never seen before. Read through the information, including out loud, a few times. Additionally, you might want to practice in front of the mirror so you can look confident and relaxed when delivering the information. It may take some time. Try to keep a pleasant tone of voice and facial expressions. Figure out what works best for you. As a presenter, I know that if I'm chained to a podium, I'm not going to be as comfortable because I tend to pace and gesture a lot during a presentation. If I know a podium is going to be required, it may change a lot about how I deliver the information. Part of your audience analysis may actually be an analysis of where your presentation will be and what the setup looks like. These things and many others eventually get us to the apex of our pyramid, effective public speaking. Surprises and misunderstandings may always occur, but planning ahead helps minimize that risk. Ask questions of the person who has contacted you about speaking. Make sure that you're given the date, time of day, and location for the event. Repeat this information back to the contact person so you make sure you have the information correct. I usually send an email confirming all of this so there's a paper trail that I can refer back to if I have questions. Make sure you find out the length of the program requested and if there will be time allotted for question and answer. For example, do they want a 20-minute presentation with 5 minutes for Q&A, or do they want a 25-minute presentation? It's important that you know the desired length so you can prepare properly. Go too long or unexpectedly short, and you risk throwing off the group's schedule and cause stress to the program's coordinators. Finally, find out who will be in the audience. Is it youth, young professionals, retired teachers? Learning about the audience composition can help you in preparing the depth of material that will hold your audience's interest. The contact person should be looked to as your source of information about the event. If possible, get several ways to contact this person: a home or work or cell phone or email if they have one, so that you can reach them if you have questions prior to, or if problems arise just prior to your speaking engagement. Reconfirm with your contact person the date, time, location, length of talk, anticipated number of attendees, and information about the facility. It'd also be nice if the contact person could send you a confirmation letter with the above information on it for your files and use. Not all facilities are created equal, and the way they're designed can impact when you need to arrive and how you may prepare for the event. If you're speaking at a location that is not familiar to you, ask for detailed directions or a map. If you live nearby, consider taking a test drive by the location prior to the event. Ask your contact person some specific questions about the facility, especially if you're planning to use slides or some other form of electronic media for your presentation. For example, if you're speaking outdoors during the daytime, then a computer-projected presentation might be a poor choice for giving your program because attendees won't be able to see your slideshow. If you're using media that requires electricity, you need to find out if they have the equipment or if you need to provide it. If you plan to use equipment from the extension office, you may need to schedule it in advance or be trained in its proper use prior to your first trip out to give a program. The Scouts motto is "Be prepared," and this could be a good motto for public speakers as well. Even if your contact person says that certain items will be provided, consider bringing backups of items you must have to successfully deliver your message. For example, you might find that you need your extension cord in addition to their extension cord to reach your equipment. If making handouts, plan for a few more than you're requested to have. You'll likely be able to use the extras at another program. Finally, be prepared for equipment failure, power outages, or anything else that might cause you to use an unexpected or alternate method to deliver your message. Handle adversity in stride, and you'll look like a true professional in everyone's eyes. If given your choice of topic by the contact person, plan on speaking about a topic with which you're very familiar. It'll make it easier to plan what you're going to say, and it'll put you more at ease during any question and answer session that may follow. For most speaking engagements, one central theme or topic, like childhood overweight, is all you'll need to cover. From there, develop your presentation based on your allotted time and the composition of your audience. Now it's time to decide if visuals are appropriate for the event. Select visuals based on your own comfort level and experience. Personally, there are some audiences with which I will not use a PowerPoint or other visual because I feel like it turns the audience off. They feel like they can't interact with me because I need to go through my material. Other times, the audience absolutely expects a PowerPoint, or maybe it's essential to the message I'm trying to deliver. If you are going to use visuals though, go through the presentation before you start trying to present to an audience. Something like animations or transitions in a PowerPoint can throw you, and it's best to be able to anticipate those when they're going to happen. The introduction is designed to catch the audience's attention and should take about 10% of your allotted time. This is your opportunity to show excitement for your topic. Get them interested in what you have to say. The body is the longest part of the presentation and provides the facts and information you plan to share with the audience. Try to convey 2 to 5 main points depending on your time. For example, start with the definition of diabetes, then discuss the types of diabetes, and you might end by transitioning into the health risks associated with diabetes in adults. Try not to use technical terms unless you're talking to a group where this would be appropriate, and remember to be enthusiastic. Devote about 10% of your time to wrapping up the topic. Review the main information that you shared with the group, and then end the presentation with the idea you most want remembered. Ask for questions if that was planned for in your talk and if you're not running over your time limit. Don't forget to thank the group for inviting you to speak, and be willing to provide them with your contact information in case they would like to follow up with you further concerning your topic. Again, when using extension developed or other vetted materials, this type of format and allocation of time is probably already scripted and ready to go. As a fun experiment, take a look at some of the materials you're trained on or provided to deliver and notice which ones do and do not follow this type of format. When you're talking to an audience, it really is about more than just broadcasting a message. You may be the sage on the stage, but you're really in conversation with your audience, even if you're the only one talking. As the speaker, you should still pay attention to how your audience is responding, or maybe isn't, to your information, how they're connecting, or maybe not, to you. This attentiveness can make you a more informed and better presenter. Your information isn't necessarily going to change, but your style may change. When I'm at the front of the room giving a talk, I'm at the 12 o'clock position on the chart you see on the screen. I can say something, and my audience is at 2 o'clock and receives the message. They compared what I'm saying to what they know, what they don't know, what their experience has been, and a host of other things. And then they pick me back up at 5 o'clock, maybe nodding yes in agreement, or nodding no in disagreement, or nodding off because it's after lunch and that pie was just too good. But no matter what, I can join them again at 7 o'clock and react to what I'm seeing, hearing, and feeling from the audience. By paying attention to the feedback I'm getting from them, both verbal and nonverbal, I can adjust my style, tone, manner, take a small break, or whatever to be sure we're connecting. And then that cycle starts all over again. Even with all the training and preparation and charm you can muster, you may still run into difficulties. So where does it all go wrong? The reality is, I don't know, or I'd tell you. And then you can be prepared, avoid it, and knock it out of the park every time. There are a few things we can assume about problems we might encounter with our audiences. One might be attitudes. The Extension Service usually tries to stay above the fray on sensitive or controversial topics. We may be providing grounded information that might counter the hype of certain topics. If the audience already believes something, even if we can empirically prove that belief is flawed or wrong, we still may not be able to connect with that person or get our message across. Same with information and communication skills. We often fall into the trap of assuming the audience has some base level knowledge related to a subject, but they may not. Conversely, their level of knowledge may be way above where our educational materials assume them to be. And with communication, if we're only talking, but perhaps our audience needs a visual, a handout, or some type of printed material may stand between you and a successful presentation. We also need to make sure we're using clear, simple language that's free of jargon and acronyms or initialisms. People also come from different backgrounds and have different experiences. If we're excited to share with an audience about the benefits of a healthy diet, but their best, most accessible market is the corner store with sodas and potato chips, our message may not resonate. And this doesn't even account for the fact that our audience attention span is probably only as good as the chair they're sitting in or the room that you're speaking in is comfortable. Forget public speaking. One of the hardest things you might have to do is cold call a group or location to pitch the idea for an educational program or series. Getting in the door, introducing yourself, and trying to explain what you do and what your extension service does in a concise manner may be tough. One of the ways is to practice your 27-9-3. It's a speaking technique developed in the Vermont legislature to try to help them make really quick, effective, and persuasive points. It has the effect of limiting your quote-unquote real estate, so you have to really refine what you want to say and how you want to say it. 27-9-3 stands for 27 words or less in 9 seconds or less with 3 points or less. It's not the time to give extension's whole history or your whole history. It's your attempt to clearly and concisely state your purpose to get in the door. You might hear something like this called an elevator speech. but because we're health and wellness focused, let's call it a stairwell speech. After all, taking the stairs can be a great way to get physical activity. But the idea is, if you only had a brief interaction with someone on the elevator or on the stairs, what would you say? So here's my 2793 for my agency and our mission. Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service is the outreach and community education arm of the Texas A&M system. We help Texans better their lives through practical, research-based education. I didn't recount our 100-year history, nor did I try to tell you about all the really neat, great things we do day in and day out. I just gave you a little bit of information about the agency I work for, what we do, and how we do it. Don't worry, you'll get a chance to practice crafting your own 2793 at the end of this session. We have a worksheet that will help you organize your thoughts. Hopefully your 2793 leads to a broader conversation, or maybe you need to work on the introduction to your presentation, or a longer pitch. So we can use some of the 2793 elements to help craft that. In this setup, I'll introduce myself and my role, and then we can position the agency a little bit using facts and figures to help give a bigger picture. Then we can talk about some of the things the agency does really well and the part I play in doing those things. Always leave some room for questions or be able to check their understanding when you're finished. So I put this together to talk about me, my agency, and my role in it. And this is actually how I begin most of my programs by way of introduction. I'm Andy Crocker, Extension Program Specialist for Gerontology and Health with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. AgriLife Extension is the outreach and community education arm of the Texas A&M University System. The Extension Service is a federally mandated mission of America's land-grant colleges and universities. You'll find the Extension Service in all 50 states and all the U.S. territories, and in Texas, we're in 250 of the 254 counties. Many people know us best for our programs in agriculture and horticulture, but we have very robust programs in a variety of areas like health, nutrition, and youth development. If you don't know where your county extension office is, or who your county extension agents are, find out. They can be a resource to you in a variety of areas. And then I might add a little bit about myself. So I let them know that I'm from Louisiana, I'm not a native Texan, and I'm a proud Baylor Bear, I did not go to Texas A&M. And then I like a really relaxed presentation and feel free to ask questions as we go along. This helps them see that I'm a real person, I'm not just a talking head on the stage. And so now it's your turn. Let's work on your 2793. You have a worksheet to help you craft it. And you'll notice it has a lot of space on it so you can write out a bunch of stuff and then edit it down to what you want to say to fit the mold. I find that if I'm asked to write 27 words, I may not even know where to start. But if I can just write and then edit it down to the requirements, it's likely to go better. Then use the box at the bottom to write out your refined 2793. As you do this, think about who is the audience for this particular message. What might appeal to their direct self-interest? What do you want your audience to think or understand about your issue? How do you want them to feel about what you've said? And what do you want your listener to do after they hear your message? Likewise, take some time to craft your broader message. You can use your 2793 as a jumping off point for this. Think about, what do you know about your extension service and your role as a volunteer? What are 3 to 5 things you would like others to know about your extension service and your role as a volunteer? Things that piqued your interest, things you think that will pique their interest, things that make your agency different from other organizations. Use the handout to help get your thoughts together and craft your broader message. Thank you for your time and attention in this module, and good luck working on your 2793 and crafting your broader message. Getting together with your county extension staff or others in your training group will help you refine and practice delivery. Working with and in the community where you live and work to help your friends and neighbors through extension outreach and education is going to be very rewarding. And there are a lot of supports to help you. the Extension Service's reputation, its faculty and staff, the materials they have available, and so many more things. Get comfortable with your new role and with yourself as a speaker, and it will help guarantee your success.